To multiply, or I should say, to divide complex numbers, what we do is we multiply by the conjugate. To the numerator and denominator. It's kind of the same principle like when we divide irrational numbers. Because if I take a plus bi times a minus bi, what happens is it's like a difference of squares. I get a squared minus abi plus abi, then minus b squared I squared. Notice the ABI's cancel because you got a negative and a positive. So you end up with a squared, and then I squared is negative 1, so you have the opposite of negative 1 b squared, or just a squared plus b squared. So what happens is it makes your denominator a rational number, a real number. So let's do that. Let's take a look at question 14. I have 5i divided by 3 plus 2i. So what I do is I multiply numerator and denominator by 3 minus 2i. Now, you're still going to have complex numbers in the numerator. So if we distribute 5i in here, I'm going to get 15 and then minus 10i squared. 15i. Sorry about that. Got to put that I in there. It's not showing up. There we go. 15i. And then minus 10i squared. Now the denominator I know is a squared plus b squared, so it'll be 9 plus 4. Now I'm going to simplify the numerator a little bit. So I'm going to get 15i. Remember, I squared is negative 1. So I get minus negative 1 times 10, or plus 10, all over 13. So I get 15i plus 10 all over 13. And there you have it. Your denominator is a real number. Your numerator still is a complex number. Let's take a look at number 15. 15 is almost, it's simpler than 14, but sometimes it's more confusing. Because what's the conjugate of 2i? Well, the conjugate of 2i is negative 2i because you only change the sign of the irrational, or the irrational, of the complex part. So I'm going to take 5 plus I. I'm going to multiply the numerator by negative 2i and the denominator by negative 2i. So we're going to get negative 10i minus 2i squared. All over negative 4i squared. Well, I squared is negative 1, so I get negative 10i plus 2. All over 4. Now I can reduce this because I notice I'm going to write that as negative 10i all over 4 plus 2 over 4. So 4 doesn't go into 10, but 2 goes into both of them, doesn't it? So you get negative 5i over 2 plus 1/2. A lot of times we'll write that as negative 5i plus 1 all over 2. Or you might even see it as 1 minus 5i, because that's usually how we have it written as a complex number, is we put the imaginary part second. And there's your solution.